Alrighty, welcome back, ladies and germs, to episode 3 of the Casual Cast. Once again, I have the classic team right here. I've got Zombie Cutter to the left of me here on the stream, and then past him, I have Matthew once again, otherwise known as Zaruru1.
And not Tony.
And not Tony. Why? Why not Tony? Because he's a fickle bitch, and he pretends he's AFK so that he doesn't have to show up on the podcast. Because he can't even stand being in another room with a person, let alone broadcast his voice over the internet. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. Today we have a special topic, one that is near and dear to my heart. I believe Matthew will have strong feelings towards it as well. The subject of today will be dead games. We're going to talk about games that we wish wouldn't have died and what we think could have been done differently for these games. Reed, I'm sure that with your experience, you might have found a game or two that just isn't as populated anymore.
I have the number one answer to this in my head, but it's not a game I want to come back. And the answer is Battleborn, because it was dead on arrival.
Thanks.
Well, I'm glad you said it, because we were all gonna say it. Matthew, you wanna just take it from here, from there, after hearing Reed's number one pick.
That's not one I want to come back. That's one I want to stay dead.
Why are you like this? Wait.
Go ahead, Matthew. Go ahead.
No. Let this man explain himself. Why do you want it to stay dead?
I pre-ordered it, bought it, played it. I pretty much bought the gold edition for it, pre-order. It just was a clunky game. It wasn't smooth like other kind of hero shooters have been. Do I think it was better than Overwatch? It was kind of a different game. But it's more of a comparable to something like Paladins. It was.
I've never played Paladins.
It was kind of a similar play, just the way the game acted. And Paladins was just better. Battleborn was very kind of clunky and slow in the way a lot of the abilities and characters acted. Did it have cool style? Yeah, I loved the style, the kind of Borderlands-y almost style. Just wasn't a good game.
Yeah, you hear that echo, right, Reed?
Yeah, there's a slight echo off of Ricardo.
That is fucking weird. It might just be because of some audio thing. Let me turn down the volume on my headset. We'll see if it keeps going.
I know one game that I wish didn't die. Smash and Grab.
I've never heard that in my life.
I haven't.
It was.
Hold up. Before we move on from Battleborn, let's keep that on there. Matthew, give your side of your Battleborn experience.
When I saw Battleborn, I saw it was being done by 2K games and stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I really like Borderlands, and
it definitely had good developers.
Yeah, and I looked at the teasers and shit when the game was being announced and they're having trailers and stuff. I'm like, man, this looks like a fun game to play for fun. I mean, I don't plan on playing this competitively, but just for shits and giggles. The game's quirky, this cartoony art style. Phoebe's pretty hot. What goes wrong, right? What goes wrong? But then the game becomes it dies so fast. I believe that part of their downfall was due to how close they're pretty much competing with Overwatch, even though they're.
To be honest, I don't think that's part of their downfall. Their entire game downfall was based on their release time. If they had released literally 6 months earlier, they probably would have been a perfectly fine game.
I'm trying to think of other games that were released near the same time that were also had a lot of hype. Did Battlefield 1 also release near Battleborn?
We can. I'm not sure. Do you somebody wanna pull up the charts there?
Say that's a little googly Google there.
Yeah, we just look up that quarter and see what came out in that quarter as well. But yeah, I guess I'll share what I thought. Battleborn was one of the main games I wanted to talk about. I have another game that I really want to talk about a little later once we get past Reed's pick. But I had a lot of fun playing Battleborn.
My real name, Reed.
I also I call you by your real name all the time.
I'm just kidding.
So I had a lot of fun playing Battleborn. I thought it was a lot of fun. Like I said, I played through the campaign. I think I also got the gold edition. I got some sort of Founders thing.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I bought the Founders.
So I played a butt ton of it. Me and Matthew played a lot of it when it first came out. We did the campaign together too, didn't we, Matthew? Or was it just certain missions?
I'm pretty sure if we didn't do the whole campaign together, we did most of it together.
Yeah. We played through all that. It was real fun. I liked the difference in characters. I really liked the style and aesthetic. I didn't like some of their design choices. I didn't like Thorn's voice.
Yeah, Thorn sounded so gross, dude.
I didn't like some of the designs for stuff, but that's okay, right? Some of the characters were neat. Some of the characters were really cool that I really liked. Reyna, for some reason, I loved Reyna.
Reyna looks so fucking funny to me.
She was thick. Anyways,
her walking animation was so fucking odd.
Yeah, she was like gangster or something. It was nuts.
Trashy.
Anyways, oof. I thought the game was a lot of fun. Now, it probably did die, I think, because of the whole release timing. I think Reed has a point there. It's not just the fact that it was competing with Overwatch, but there was a lot of, I guess, battle MOBAs that were starting to, the trend was starting to come to a climax.
Yep. And Overwatch was the peak.
Blizzard tacking on their fucking is it billion multi? Has it already generated billions? Is still multi-million?
Excuse me, Blizzard is partnered with Activision. Yes.
Okay, so yes, Overwatch has made a fuck ton of money. That was a behemoth of a game to even think about competing with, and it was just unfortunate. Like, I want to know the reaction at 2K when they're like, "All right, we're gonna pitch the game. It's gonna come out at this point," and then Blizzard's like, "Our game's coming out then."
Surprise.
Too. Like, what do you do? What the fuck? You push it back, just like how people now are pushing games away from the Red Dead Redemption 2 release, just because they do not want to compete with that game.
Because that game will stomp any other release into.
And I really hope that for the sake of that game, that it's good.
I mean, GTA did really well.
Yeah.
Its downfall was the whole
microtransactions.
Mod.
Oh, the mod.
That
thing, yeah.
And the whole shutting down the mod community thing.
Yeah. But yeah, I think would I like Battleborn to come back? It's free to play. The servers are still up as far as I know. So yeah, I'd like to play it again because I'd like to just have some nostalgia with it. So I'd like it for it to come back. At least not mainstream, but at least for a day. Like
at least make it playable. Like every time you hop on, you're in queue for like literally centuries, and that just only hurts it even harder.
Because yeah, the player base is so low that it's like the Culling 2. The Culling 2 was a peak.
Well, the Culling 2 they already pulled.
Exactly, but that was the definition of Dead on Arrival.
Because now, did you hear what they're doing to?
They're updating the first
Culling?
one, aren't they?
Kinda. What they did is because I own the Culling. They reverted the Culling back to its day one patch, so they completely wiped all the patches they did beyond its release day. So it is currently in its release day form with all the bugs included, everything. It's literally like like the game was released in 2016. The copyright on the splash screen says 2016 for the game.
Oof.
And they're literally starting from square one again, using the people that already own the Culling allowed to play it. And then when they are done, or at least when they're further along, they're going to make it free to play.
That's really their only option now for the game to survive, if it survives. They
murdered the Culling 2's player base by not listening to the community.
It was an interesting game from the gameplay that I saw. It was pretty neat.
Yeah, the original Culling was very unique in its combat style, and they slowly pushed it to something that wasn't unique by completely changing things that people didn't want changed. They literally broke the rule of if it's not broke, don't fix it. If it wasn't broken, but they fixed it anyways, so it started breaking things.
Fixed unquote, yeah, quote unquote. Battleborn never went through anything like that though. I think it died and they left it dead. They did the updates, right? They added about what 3 to 4 new characters. There was Beatrice. There was the snake guy,
Alani,
who was fun. Alani,
the little toy robot mech guy thing.
Yeah, there's the super kid thing. There's a water girl, and those characters were all good too. I don't know about the kid robot guy, but
Kid Ultra.
Yeah, Kid Ultra. That's his fucking name.
Oh no, I remember the last second.
The snake dude was fun. I really enjoyed playing him.
Pedals, like shit like that.
Pedals, something like that. Alani was cool. I liked her. Beatrice, I never really got to play because at that point the game was non-factor, pretty much. I mean, there's other games that have suffered kind of the same fate, where they die and they're not updated past a certain point. I think Titanfall 2, Titanfall in general, that game was hot.
And Titanfall 2 was amazing. It had probably the best single-player campaign I've ever played in a first-person shooter.
I really want to play it. I still want to play it. I think it's actually on sale right now on PlayStation. It is Battlefield 1 and Titanfall 2 for $15 if you have PlayStation Plus.
If you really want to play it, I own a physical copy. I'll just let you borrow it.
Okay, we'll talk about it. We'll talk later. But I want to play it because it seems I like the first game quite a bit. It just it's just
the second game was just a better version. The multiplayer was good while it was still alive, but the single player campaign is amazing. They had some very interesting features. Like there's probably the most popular mission is there's a mission where you get a device that allows you to go back in time. So how it works is you're traveling through in reality, you're traveling through a destroyed, kind of burned out building. Let's say you get to an area where you're wall running and there's debris blocking your path. Well, you go back in time to when the building was still fine. Run, and then go back to the current time to get past that barrier.
You go back in time in Titanfall 2?
Yeah, there's a mission where you have a device that lets you switch between current time and a previous time. You can go back and forth at the press of a button. So you could be fighting a group of enemies, go back in time to a different group of enemies, fight them, go back to the current time where there's a different group. You see what I mean? You can switch back and forth, and you use it to kind of solve platforming puzzles.
Dishonored 2 had a level like that too, and it was done super well in my opinion.
Dishonored 2.
Yeah, that was considered one of the best levels of Titanfall 2 was that.
I was going to bring that up too, but let's stick strictly to multiplayer games. I know there's plenty of single player games that have also died.
Yeah.
But just for future reference or whatever.
Yeah, like the one I was talking about, Smash and Grab is, but I didn't know if we wanted to move on.
But that's fine. We can talk about that one because that's like your pick of what you want.
Yeah, this is definitely my pick. I love the game. I just posted the teaser in our call here. Okay. It was very interesting, made by a group called United Front Games. The same company responsible for what was it? For Sleeping Dogs.
Okay, I've heard really good things about it. Haven't played it.
They shut down because of this game.
Oof.
Well, what it is, Smash and Grab was early access, a very interesting MOBA combat game. Let me see if I can get to where it's got something that's a better description, because it's been a while since I played it. It was pretty much how it worked, is you had different heroes you could play as. The idea of the game was it's a kind of dystopian future where these different gangs are all vying for control of an area. So when you spawn, you have your hero and 2 lieutenants and then a group of kind of gang members that fight with you.
Okay.
Each lieutenant changed how your gang members fought, had a different ability, and then your main character had different abilities. The objective of the game was to run around and loot stores and then collect and loot the store and collect money from it and then bring it back to your base while beating the crap out of the other players to steal the loot they've gathered.
So, is this a game where you control multiple characters? Is it kind of
you
like
just control your one and then kind of declare your lieutenants to go do their own thing if you want or pull them back to you.
Okay.
So you can kind of say, this lieutenant go to here and try to do it, but if they get caught, they're not going to be as well fighting by themselves.
Okay, because they're AI.
So things like that. It's mainly you're just kind of your little group of minions, and you can go run off and leave your minions to do something, and do something on your own, and then come back, or call the minions to you and stuff. And then each minion had its own health. When they die, they then have to respawn and run back to join you.
Okay.
So it was kind of interesting how it worked, but it was this whole combat system where they had some characters you could find heavy weapons, light weapons, and ranged weapons, and there were only so many on the map. And there was a level for each weapon, so teams would be trying to fight to collect these weapons before the enemy so they get a power boost. And then at the end of the match, towards the end, it would unlock like a big electronics store that everyone would run into. You have to defeat some AI police officers in the front, and you're just fighting on the inside trying to collect as much money as you can before the enemy team can collect more than you. It was a lot of fun. It had like I said, there's the teaser trailer there. So you can kind of see the art style for it.
Yeah, I'll check it out
after.
You could get you could kind of collect different modifications for your weapons, like electricity and poison or fire. Characters had different abilities that were better at different things, and it was all about going around and looting these shops. But the game slowly just fell apart.
Like a risk management game as well.
Yeah, the game just kind of fell apart. It got to a point where the company making it had United Front had to shut down. And so they had to shut down all the servers and refunded everyone that owned it, no matter how much they played. They pretty much said, you bought it, we're going under, we can't keep the servers open, so the game is going to be dead, and we're refunding everyone. So they refunded everyone that had bought it and shut it down.
Wow.
So I'm assuming all the dislikes on this video are because of the fact that they shut down?
I'm going to guess. I actually have not looked at the video.
Look at the
I'm gonna go ahead
comments. I see a fair amount complaining that rip this game. It's all
Yeah.
Sleeping Dogs 2 fault or something like that. Even though
Yeah,
I don't
because
even think
Sleeping
there
Dogs 2 was a
sequel.
very, very big failure.
Yikes.
Oh, what there? I didn't even. It must have been
I
so
didn't
bad
know there
'cause
was
I
a
didn't even
sequel.
hear
Yeah.
existence.
Yeah.
Um,
Wow. That's crazy. Matthew, was there anything you wanted to add on to the Battleborn?
Battleborn one.
Yeah.
I will say that I felt like another thing about the game. I don't know what it was at the time, but I want to say the game might have had some optimization problems running on certain PC builds. Because at the time, my computer is a lot more young. I could run a lot of stuff fine, but for some reason, I'd always have trouble running Battleborn to full capacity. I have to like do a workaround or something to make it like less of a toll on my computer. I feel like that might have like deterred some players.
Did you experience
I
anything
know
like
Advanced Warfare had that problem also, but because it's a
Okay.
Call of Duty game, it probably didn't die too fast.
that? Yeah.
It's Call of Duty. I mean, they
Did you
don't
did
die.
you run into anything like that, Reed? Where you had PC
On
issues?
I played it on console.
Okay.
So
I played on
it
PC.
ran fairly well on console. I didn't.
It's
have
still
any
it's
issues.
not even free to play on console. You just have to buy the disc.
Oof.
There's no digital download?
I don't know, but it's definitely like $6 at GameStop. But
Well, I mean,
didn't-
just because it's free to play doesn't mean you're gonna stop selling it. We
Yeah.
have some stuff like that at Target where there are things that are games that are free to play that
I
we
mean, you
still
probably
sell.
get like founder access and you get bonuses for.
No,
actually
it's
buying
just the game.
it. Oh, oof.
Yeah.
Well, I don't remember anything. I don't remember a lot of like negative stuff from Battleborn, just probably because I'm remembering all the good bits. But I remember I played through the DLC as well, and the DLC wasn't remarkable. It was just kind of like more stuff to do. But it was interesting how each one had a different kind of theme and story revolved around, and the style was different. One thing that I will say that surprised me that I did not like their opening cutscene. The animation was
one
cool.
where they like just like fucked around with some giant mech. Or some
Yes. I thought the animation was cool. I did not like the song they picked.
I can't remember the song. I thought the animation
I
was
don't
neat,
remember
but I
the
wish
song.
it didn't showcase every single character, right? Only
Yeah, it was like the main ones that were involved in the story. Like there was Melka, and there was the fucking
Oscar
vampire
Mike, the
dude,
classic.
Oscar Mike. I remember I used to play a lot of Whiskey, Matthew.
I really liked Whiskey. Everyone like treated him as shitty Oscar Mike, and I'm like, don't hate on Mike.
I liked
boy.
Melka a lot.
I just liked his burst rifle better.
But I did not like the song choice that they did. It was just maybe we'll talk. Well, I'll show you guys after.
You're talking about the prologue cinematic?
Yep, I did not like the sound choice, the song choice.
It's like some rap song.
It was like some rap song, but I just felt like with what they were trying to do and what the song did, just like I don't know, there was just something off about it that I don't like. But I don't think that really caused its downfall any more than all the other big
Yeah,
issues.
it's like I was just looking at it. It's like some kind of piano beated, slow rap song.
I'll listen to it again. Maybe I'll change my mind. But yeah, Matthew.
One thing I really did like about Battleborn is that through completing random challenges or like getting in-game achievements, you could unlock more of a character's lore, like echo logs or like text logs or something.
Yeah, kind of the unlocking lore was.
I really liked
think
it.
an
And skins
interesting
too.
area.
You got skins, emotes. Like yeah, you were supposed to do specific tasks. I remember that we grinded pretty hard to do. I was doing the ones with Kelvin,
I was doing Phoebe's.
Orendi,
I try to remember. I think my main was the sniper, the robo dude.
Marquis.
Yeah.
I liked Orendi
I
a
really
lot.
liked him.
I liked Kelvin. Kelvin's definitely one of my favorite characters. I think Melka ended up being my favorite character. Period.
I'll be honest. I think that it could have done without the gear and build system. Like not the choosing abilities, not the DNA helix, but like the here's some loot crates
That
here's
gives
some
you
gear can wear.
bonuses to like attack speed or
I
health
wish it was just
regen.
like the straight. These are the characters. Here's their skill trees.
I feel like they did that
Okay.
just so there would be a variant playstyle.
Yeah.
Just to
But I feel like there's probably
reinforce
just a
even
defined,
more.
This is better or something.
Yeah, most likely.
That's
There's
what I mean.
there's definitely better builds because like
Yeah,
there's
'cause there's
legendary
legendary gear and
items.
stuff.
Yeah, there's legendary items you get specifically for those characters, and there's only one of each legendary item. So you're most likely gonna want to play whatever playstyle the legendary item reinforces the most.
Yeah.
Like with Orendi, it was a really like focusing on specific abilities or specific helix abilities. that would let you like cast the pillar of pain multiple times and stuff.
Yeah, I really liked Arendi's kit. It was like fun explosions.
Hell yeah.
Like spells and shit.
But yeah, I don't know. The game could have been something cool. It is just unfortunate to see that it never really got a check
comparing it to Overwatch,
which was a bad idea because Overwatch doesn't do really minion pressure.
It was a very different game.
It does not use the item system in general, right, and the ability system in general as well, and just the pacing of the game was very different. So the only common thing they had was the payload game mode.
Yeah,
that's it. I guess the King of the Hill. I think did Battleborn have a King of the Hill game mode as well? Yeah, I think it did.
Battleborn, yeah, it did.
But it was different because
no one played it though.
It was different.
It was pretty much all payload.
I like the minion one the most, honestly.
Yeah, the minion one I think is the one I played.
Something like that.
Yeah, Meltdown. Because you had to like feed them to the gods and stuff.
Oh, that was I just looked up the characters. I played Shane and Oryx. That's who it was.
Oryx. Oh, Shane and Oryx. Yeah,
yeah.
That was one of the designs that I didn't like too much, just because she looked like she was an addict.
Are you telling me she wasn't?
I'd say that was probably the point.
Yeah, Oryx was really cool. Shane was a little too close to life.
Because the characters they added were Pendles.
Pendles is real cool.
He was really neat.
Kid Ultra.
Kid Ultra
looked really lame.
He looked lame. His kit was probably good.
Yeah, he looked like
Ernest. I think was one of the ones they added. Yeah.
Ernest was the bird. Yes, I remember.
Yeah.
A really ugly looking thing.
Yeah.
The little pink bird.
Yeah, little pink bird.
And then Beatrix.
Beatrix, Matthew never got.
And Alani.
Alani was cute, and I liked her kit.
Yeah, I played Shane and Oryx and Galila, the gladiator chick.
Oh,
with the shield.
Yeah.
And she was super OP early in the game.
Yeah, she was really strong.
She was so broken.
She was like tanky. She had a lot of bursts.
And her damage output was gross.
She was invincible.
She had a projectile option.
Yeah, she had the invincible item. She was gross.
I don't know, dude.
That's what I played.
I felt like the combat of the game was so fucking fun. Like I felt like there was a high potential to outplay people with like specific Helix abilities that you got, and there was also sure there was times where I was like boom dead. If I got hit by some assassin. But there was a lot of times where it was just really rewarding since everything was a skill shot, like sniping people with the Rendy columns.
Cough, smite, cough.
And then just, I don't know, dude. The game was...
Yeah, I mean, okay, I feel like the Helix kind of got... There's a lot of stuff going on in the Helix, and I felt like that might have turned off players from trying to learn. Because,
there should have been an auto-level option, I think, just for beginners. Yeah. I think there was, though.
In Overwatch, I
don't remember.
You get into the match, you can change characters at will, and then the characters you have are just the characters you have. Just literally
that's the difference.
There are 4 abilities.
Yeah.
That's what makes Overwatch.
Oh, here's the Helix. Here's the mutation you can unlock. Oh, here's the gear. And I feel like that. Not to mention Blizzard's already a well-known company, and they have people who just support them in general. And everything.
I think
the
that
advertising for that game was insane.
That's true.
Yeah.
I think that's what makes Overwatch almost like baby's first MOBA. Because it's kind of, you have these different characters that all have different abilities. But there's no advancement.
Yeah. Like this,
you pick your character, that is your character.
There's a higher skill ceiling in Battleborn than there was in Overwatch.
The time to kill was a lot longer in Battleborn.
Oh, it was extremely long
compared
in
to
Battleborn.
Overwatch. Very much.
That's why I compare Battleborn more to a MOBA.
Yes,
it was like a first-person MOBA.
Yeah, because of the time to kill was huge, even for assassins.
Like, sure, damage could get kind of outrageous. Some things definitely hurt, but that was like a lot later. And I mean, the games could go on for a while too, but I didn't feel like the games ever
very long matchups.
I think that was more due to players not
being stupid.
Understand. Yeah.
Like, you know how bronze matches in League go on?
Because the minions,
dying
the minions don't carry you.
Yeah, you carry the minions.
But I felt like the game had a lot of heart.
And it had a lot of style.
Yeah.
So
I just hope one day that someone just revives it somehow. I don't care if it becomes as popular as like Overwatch or League.
Just
or
playable.
Dota.
Oh, it never will.
Just playable. I can load in the queue and
at least get a game. At least
get a game.
I don't know. Like if I ever get big, I definitely want to try to do something where I bring back games.
Yeah, I think Battleborn is one of the things. It just needs a group of people to revive it, not necessarily a company.
And an
It just
actual
needs
movement.
some people. Yeah, it just needs some people to start coming back and playing it again.
A lot of people were like, "Oh yeah, you know, we can bring it back or whatever." Hashtag save Battleborn, but just I don't know. It wasn't enough. I don't know.
Especially since it's free to play now.
We can look. Honestly, we're gonna look at. We should look, Matthew. See if there's a Discord for it. Because now I'm gonna move on to the next game that I want to talk about, which is my choice for a game that I wish wouldn't have died. Evolve.
Gigantic. Oh,
Evolve. Yeah. Evolve is fairly good. Evolve is Turtle Rock Studios even around anymore?
Turtle Rock is.
Are they dead?
I think they're around, but they're not working on Evolve.
I know that.
So, I enjoyed Evolve so much. Evolve was one of the primary reasons why I bought an Xbox, and I loved playing that game a lot.
Let's see, what has Turtle Rock been up to?
The isometric team style where there was 4 players against 1. I always played monster. I always loved being some big giant hulking monster by myself and preying on people. Yeah, I got to be me in a game, and that's really cool. I don't really get a lot of representation these days.
IRL role playing in the
Hell yeah, boy.
Turtle Rock has moved on to VR games.
That's interesting. I'll have to see what
they're working. They actually have some pretty big names too. Interesting. They're making a Stranger Things VR game.
Wow.
They made one for Blade Runner 2049. So they took some kind of big name games or big name movies and made some VR games.
That's interesting.
And just for people that, if you don't know, Turtle Rock Studios is the company that made Left 4 Dead.
Okay, yeah. Just as a precursor, yeah. By the way,
you kind of understand these guys had
skill,
a lot of
as well,
at least a lot of attention on anything they do because of how big Left 4 Dead was.
Like the hype around Evolve was huge. So like people when they saw it at E3, they're like, "This game's gonna be great. This is gonna be the next esports." Blah 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 blah. And then it came out and
it just died.
Motherfucking rip. There was a few things that I feel like I watched a video a while back. I don't know who made it, but you can search it up by the title, and all credit goes to that man. But it was Evolve didn't die, it was murdered, and that was the title of the video. And I watched it, and I fully agree with the guy. And it's just because on release day, Evolve had, I think it's accurate to say hundreds of dollars worth of DLC on launch.
Yikes.
Which is not cool. It had tons of skins. It had characters, like monsters. Each monster was $15.
That's what murdered it. They decided to put all of their monsters and characters behind pretty hefty either paywalls or. It took a while to unlock them. It was not easy.
I don't even know if the credit system existed back then, actually.
It wasn't. It was like some weird challenge system where you had to work to a certain point to unlock them. There was a way to unlock them, but you had to play with its previous character and complete some challenges, and then you could unlock them.
That's the base characters. That's the base characters.
Yes, the DLC characters though you had to pay for.
Yeah, the DLC characters you had to pay for. Which was nuts.
It was a bad system.
Especially because there was one, I think it was Bob, the Behemoth.
Bob.
He was the pre-order bonus. Yeah. But he came out pretty much on release day. And you still have to buy him.
Release day DLC, which is...
No bueno.
Unless it's a cosmetic, that's usually always a bad sign.
So yeah. And then there was another problem with the game, which was the gameplay was not simple enough to where... The hunters
pick it up and go.
Yeah, the hunters, you had to work together.
The hunters required very heavy amount of cooperation.
Yes, team-based games, aka flame-based games.
But no, this is
you do not prosper alone in this game, unless you're the monster.
Not compared to something like Overwatch or anything like that, where you can kind of go off on your own and try to carry. No, if you could not survive by yourself.
Because
wrong move and you die.
And if the wrong play, if the medic isn't on top of people in a fight. If the medic fails, you lose. If the trapper fails, you would never catch the monster, and eventually he would overpower you.
Well, remember they changed that later, where anyone could throw out an arena.
Yeah, but the game was already dead by then.
That is true. That was them trying to save face.
Exactly. If the trapper failed, you would never catch the monster. If the assault failed, you wouldn't win fights because you wouldn't deal enough damage. And if the support failed, you in general, support was a crazy vital role. Like if it was shields or just monster utility abilities and stuff like that. Every person was very important, and they had to work very hard. to make sure that they didn't immediately lose against someone who was competent in the monster side. Or even then, if you're just really incompetent in the hunter side, it was just very tough to win. Which empowered people who played monsters, like myself, sure.
Mm-hmm.
But when...
And then I remember they added the spider character, too.
Yeah,
was like,
Gorgon.
oh.
One out of 5 people being happy about leaving a game, just finishing a game, that is not good. You don't want 1/5 of your player base to be glad that they just played your game. So I feel like, I don't know, and in a game like that's hard to balance, because you can't make playing hunters easier to where it just makes playing monster too difficult, because you don't want nobody to play the villain either. Somehow, Dead by Daylight got around this because they made cooperation completely optional, and you would prosper by cooperating. Right, majority of the time, if you cooperated, you would succeed. Sometimes you wouldn't, because that's just how the dice rolls, and that's
cooperating
the price you
sure
pay.
helped you succeed,
yes.
but it definitely wasn't required.
But it definitely was not required, and the killer was still empowered, right? Now, I can't really compare those two games too much, because in Evolve you're literally designed to fight back against the monster because you're on even terms, but in Dead by Daylight that's never the case. But Dead by Daylight is a good example in the sense of it's another isometric game that found a way to make 4 versus 1 enjoyable enough to where the game is still alive and healthy today. Like, if you look on Twitch, it's still in the top 20.
How healthy is healthy?
It's still in the top 20 games streams, period.
Let me see the
What, Evolve or
Steam
Dead by
charts.
Daylight?
Dead by Daylight.
Well, I mean, streaming is different from players.
But it gets DLC releases often as well.
That's true.
And it gets updates
I mean,
often.
you are right. Its 30-day average on Steam charts is 27,000. With its all-time peak at 46,000.
That is not bad. For how many years now?
It's not. I don't think years. Maybe like 2.
I think it's like 2 years.
So years.
But you look at numbers like Battleborn, you look at Evolve. It definitely did not die, and is not dead yet, which is good for it. But I wish Evolve came back. What the servers for the free-to-play version are shutting down in September.
Oh, they are. I didn't know they
Yes.
announced the shutdown.
So
For the free-to-play version?
Correct.
So if you just buy the game straight up, you'll have your own servers for that?
yes, so they're reverting it back to Legacy Evolve. They're also reverting the changes from the free-to-play back to Legacy.
So they're just giving up on free-to-play or what?
The free-to-play version will no longer be playable. I think it's something due to how the
Evolve
servers
Stage
are run.
2, I think is what they called it.
Yeah, Stage 2 will no longer be playable. So Legacy Evolve will be the only thing you can play. The Steam keys are about $1.50. So
Yikes.
if you really want to, you can play it.
How long is the queue for that game?
The queue? Not too long. When I played Stage 2, it wasn't more than 5 minutes.
Let's see.
Sometimes I would queue pretty fast.
Evolve Stage 2, let's see. 24-hour peak of players is 211. Its current is 80.
But the thing is that there's still definitely a community behind Evolve that I've been in touch with. I am part of my own Discord, or not my own, but I'm part of 2 Discord servers. One that is just a community of Evolve players, and that are very active and play this game every day, all the time. And there's another one that's strictly for...
I don't think there's any games I'm that active in.
Tournaments. Well, Siege. You play Siege. That's like... They're Evolve to them is like your Siege. Except Siege is not dead.
Siege is the complete opposite of dead.
The other server is a tournament server where they're actually going to host the last tournament for Evolve Stage 2, run by the community, funded by the community. Like there's the prize, like the pot is like $125 to the winning team, and it's all donated by the community and a whole bunch of other stuff. And they're very much alive. And I joined the last tournament that they did, but I didn't really get to play too much due to some weird team issues, and also we got stomped by people who actually knew how to play the game because we were on like a freelance team. We were playing like actual teams with like ex-competitive players and stuff. But it was fun nonetheless. I'm not joining this time just because I don't have the time to invest into the game to relearn to play, even though I loved it very much. I will play Legacy most likely. Hopefully Legacy has the combined numbers from the people who still play Legacy, because there's a dedicated base that only plays Legacy Evolve. That population still exists, so hopefully it combines both of them, and we get about 400 players on average, which I think is better than what it is now. So I'll go back to playing that. What could they have done? Not release tons of DLC. You have to market it different too. The game was marketed as a casual shooter, which it was not. You definitely should have marketed it as a risk reward. You could have even done some sort of weird horror angle, because I mean it is fucking spooky when there's a giant man lumbering around trying to eat you up. But just the way all the advertising that they did for it made it seem like, yeah, this is a shooter like COD that you can just. There was literally, I think in the trailers it said, if you like Call of Duty, you will like this game. But
I mean, that doesn't sound right to me.
Which was laughable for that game.
Right, because Call of Duty, you just pick up guns and you run around and you just kind of do your own fucking thing. Even if you're in a team base, you never fucking coordinate with people. And this is the exact opposite of that. Coordination, you only survive by working with other people. There's a game that's coming out that I actually am interested in because it's kind of like that. It's called GTFO. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
No.
But it's a 4-player co-op horror game where you are you're pretty much a group of 4 people and you invade, like, you go into like this cavern and you're pretty much like looking for resources. It might be like this abandoned plant, but it goes from like a stealth op thing into a kind of Killing Floor-esque type style of game where there's just hordes of creatures and shit that are coming after you, and the creatures are really different and unique, and the game is supposed to be still scary, so it has some horror elements, but it definitely looks interesting. It's a game that I kind of want to try out when it comes out. Hopefully you guys
does sound interesting. The only game currently I'm monitoring is Ready or Not.
I don't think I've seen that.
It is a. Did you ever hear of a game called SWAT?
Yeah.
Yes.
It is pretty much a spiritual rendition of the game SWAT. It's supposed to be fairly realistic SWAT simulator.
Okay.
Where your mission is to go into these rooms, rescue these hostages. The thing is, it's going to be, realistic with the way AI are going to react very differently. To where, depending on, how that AI decides to handle, it could be you go to secure a random civilian hostage and they end up fighting back and distracting you, and someone ends up coming around the corner and killing you. Or you could have some guys that are willing to surrender, and then when you go to arrest them, they start ending up pulling a gun on you that you didn't expect. Like, things like that you would expect in hostage situations.
That's pretty crazy.
And also situations like, let's say if you, unlike like in Rainbow Six Siege, if I was to shoot through a wall, I know the bullet's going to go straight through the wall. In this, like in real life, depending on the material you're shooting through, it bends your bullet randomly through the wall because it distorts the trajectory.
So you could kill the hostage.
Yes, and all of this is being done by a team of like 6 people.
That's
They're completely
crazy.
an indie developer team.
Wow, that's really interesting. That's a really admirable. I really like.
So I
small teams,
do
big stuff.
I just find it interesting that this small of a team is going for something so massive.
Yeah, that's large scale because it's very intricate and complex. Anyways, back to Evolve. I wish it hadn't suffered the fate that it did. I very much enjoyed my time playing it. I will try to go back to play Legacy whenever that's a thing. And that's a game that if I had the power to try to resurrect, it wouldn't make enough difference because the servers are shutting down and it's too late. But what I would want to do is, if I ever have the power, I would like to make a spiritual successor of it. I would like to either buy the IP or make a game similar enough to the mechanic-wise, but not enough to where I get, copyrighted and shit. Because I think a game like that can succeed. I think the idea of allowing people to play big, beefy monsters that grow and change and are dynamic like that is super fun. Because I personally love monsters just as like a thing. I love looking at them. I think they're really cool. I love learning about different types of monsters and stuff.
I guess I could kind of agree. I'm not as big on the whole monster aspect. I'm bigger on asymmetrical multiplayer. I've always really enjoyed games where the combat is asymmetrical, like Rising Storm 2 Vietnam, where you literally have the Vietnamese that can dig tunnels to spawn their troops, running around with Mosins and like AKs, and RPGs, and literally, planting sticks into the ground with a grenade attached, and pungy spike traps and stuff, versus the Americans that can call in helicopters and air napalm strikes, flamethrowers, grenade launchers, heavy machine guns, snipers, like all this stuff. So it's just interesting. I've always found asymmetrical gameplay interesting because you end up in these weird combat scenarios that wouldn't happen in something like Call of Duty, where everyone just picks the best gun.
There's a board game that recently I found it on Kickstarter called Root. And it recently came in, and it's a game that I was really interested in because there's 4 different classes based in this game, and every single class plays completely different from the last one because there's different conditions, and it's all lore-based and character-based and stuff. And so I love the idea of making multiplayer dynamic and different, and having characters be restricted by different aspects.
Like, I even bought a board game recently that's the new Jurassic Park board game. That is based on a card system to where one player plays as the dinosaurs and the rest play as different survivors.
That's really cool.
And what it is everyone declares an action. So you'll have cards that'll be like move, sneak, distract
Kill.
for the humans. Like move, there's no way to kill the dinosaurs.
I meant the dinosaur kill kids.
Yeah, there is that. But it's like the players have a card where they can play called like move, sneak, climb, and each character has a different threshold to pull off these abilities by rolling a dice. So the guy that stole the dinosaur embryos, I forgot his name, the security guy that ended up trying to run away.
I don't
he's not very good at climbing, obviously, because he's the larger guy.
Yeah, he's big.
So depending on your character, and then they also each one has different special abilities. And the dinosaurs, they can move and attack. When they attack you, you lose a card from your hand. If your hand goes to 0, you die.
Yikes.
But what you can do is burn a card from your hand, which means that card is gone forever, to redraw your discard pile. So every time you get a couple less cards and a couple less cards, and you get worked down.
So you get less chances.
If the dinosaurs keep catching you.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So it's kind of an interesting thing because it's one person's controlling the dinosaurs trying to guess your movements while the rest are running away. Like we have another game as well called How to Rob a Bank.
Oh, Nikki has that one as well.
Yeah, one controls the cops and the rest control the robbers. While trying to pull off a robbery, the cop is trying to stop them.
Yeah, I haven't played that yet, but she really enjoyed that game.
Only reason I know about that one is right now it's 70% off at Target on clearance, so I'm gonna buy it tomorrow.
But yeah, isometric games I think are very interesting. It's one of the reasons I like fighters so much, because every character is different, and
yeah, that's like the epitome of asymmetrical combat.
Although they have like archetypes, sure, like Shoto characters, grapplers, etc. They're all unique, and I really enjoy that. But along the lines of
I was trying to think of some other asymmetrical ones, like Left 4 Dead 2, where you can play as the zombies.
I haven't played that one yet. I played the first one.
Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell Blacklist, where there was one team that played as Splinter Cell, and the other one played first-person shooter mercenaries that walked around trying to hunt the Splinter Cells.
That's really
neat.
That
one was very interesting.
I like that. I like the first-person to third-person point of view as well. Like Evolve did it as well. Like Dead by Daylight does that too. I think messing around with character perspective is very strong.
It makes it very different because you'll see, especially like Dead by Daylight, going with your example, you'll see things like where the killer will just walk right past a person.
Yep.
Or like you can sneak up on the killer
because you're right out of their field of view.
Like you can just barely dodge them seeing you. So it makes for kind of interesting situations.
Have any of you guys played or remember Gigantic? Am I any of you guys read? Have you played Gigantic?
Gigantic? No, I don't think I know of that game.
Rest in peace, Gigantic.
What do you think that game died, Ricardo?
All right, so I'm just gonna explain Gigantic to the folks at home who probably haven't heard of it, like Reed here. So, Gigantic was ambitious. There was a few things I really loved about Gigantic. One, it had huge monsters. Two, the art style I thought was really
So
neat.
Ricardo's already wet once he hears that.
Yeah, right bet. There was a giant snake thing, and there was a giant, like, Sphinx creature. I was game. Gigantic was another arena MOBA. that you pick characters with different abilities to do stuff. Characters, there was kind of like a tree system, like in Battleborn, but for like specific abilities, each had like different options instead of just being like an overall character tree. There was a good variety of characters. The art style I thought was really neat. Some of the characters interacted very differently, but the whole point of that game was to take objectives, kill other people, and eventually you would rack up points, and when you got enough points, you got to attack the enemy's guardian, which was their gigantic creature. In the base game, I don't think they ever got the point to release more giant characters for variety purposes, but there was the giant snake and the Finksling. You would attack the giant snake, damage its heart, whatever. If you did this 3 times, you won. Pretty simple. Again, I feel like it was a game that had a decent enough high skill ceiling, because with each level up, you could choose to upgrade something different. You could upgrade your auto attacks, or you could upgrade an ability, or you could upgrade a mobility, or you could. There was a certain point where you could just upgrade a base character trait. My favorite character was a character named Beckett, and she's this
yikes
aviator. Why? Why are you saying yikes?
Because Beckett's ugly.
Shut up. She was this cute aviator redhead girl, which I was already sold. But she used dual pistols, and she could morph them into a grenade launcher type thing.
She flies. And
yeah,
shit,
she also
right?
had his jetpack. Yeah, she also had a jetpack. She was cool. I liked her. Very fun to play. The game didn't get a lot of traction. It was going around for a while. There was a whole founder thing that you could do with it too. I think there was also something where you could buy and you would get every character they released permanently after that.
So similar to Smite.
Similar to Smite. But I guess it just didn't make enough revenue. It just didn't catch enough traction. I know that definitely they got good advertising. They had people like I'm a Cutie Pie play it, and other big streamer names like that played MOBAs. So it had the public view. I guess people just didn't like the gameplay enough, which I understand.
It had a really neat style to the art.
Yes,
it wasn't something I've never seen before, but I don't know. I thought it had some nice feel to it, if you know what I mean.
The majority of the art was it was very simple, very basic is a wrong way to put it, but a very simple type art style, to where the characters weren't complex and all these different things. You could clearly distinctly tell what character was what, and a bunch of other stuff colorful. Like that. Yeah, it was also very vibrant. The world felt alive. The map was dynamic. The map would change as the game would go on, so you'd be able to access different areas. A mechanic aspect that I didn't like, or a gameplay aspect I didn't like, was the whole minion system? ? Or summon system?
Or you mean the ones you spawn?
Yes, the one that you spawn. So there would be these nodes on the map. There would be some based for each team, and there were some that you could fight over. So you had some guaranteed nodes, and you had some that you could contest each other with. On each one of these nodes, you had the option of spawning one of 3 pre-selected minions that you would pick before the game started. And they would do different things. One of them would there was a dog that served kind of like a giant area ward, so if it noticed anybody in that area, it would notify you on the mini-map, because that was really the only way to tell where people were. Besides, you could see your teammates on the mini-map, but you couldn't really see enemies unless they were fighting you, and this was a way to have knowledge outside of that. There was one where it was a Cyclops, and what he would do is he would literally block off entrances. So
that shit was so weird. The wall would just randomly fucking boom.
If a teammate walked near it, the wall would collapse. If a teammate wasn't near it, the wall would go up again, kind of like a drawbridge. There was another one that was a healing. It was like a little sapling thing, and it would heal you when you were near it. There was a dragon, which I think was just straightly damage based. But there was some different options. I didn't like it though, because I felt it was really weird and clunky. I'm sure it gave you more objectives to fight over, but it didn't really feel fun. And it was just complicated to coordinate with your team.
The time to kill the pets were fucking ever.
Yeah, they were all really tanky.
That their teammates are their team is there helping.
Majority of the time, you want to just because you have to be close to it too. You can't just hit it from far away. There's an invincible shield, and you have to walk up and be in a certain range to be able to damage them. And as soon as you were near one, obviously the enemy team would know, and it would just. And coordinating that game was very tough. There wasn't any voice chat.
As far as I'm aware, I never heard a voice once.
As far as I know, but it wasn't a game where people really liked to coordinate it. Everybody just kind of did their own fucking thing, and that's just kind of how the game played. Like, if you went to go fight with your teammates if you really felt like it, majority of the time if you didn't do that, you get punished by people who were working together, and the game would just kind of steamroll. So
I really like how like there was a large unique cast too.
Like, sure, there was the robot character and
the Bastion character.
Nothing new there.
But even that character was different. They had different things that he could do, and he looked and felt different to play. I felt like they did a really good job nailing unique character designs and character traits.
Except the dumb bitch with the fucking floating
the hand
possessed armor.
Yeah. Oh no. Okay, her. I don't remember her name. She was wild. She was busted.
Yeah, she was so annoying. And it just this little kid just pissed me off. That she was a little kid too. With this pouty ass lips.
She was like a child who I think her parents or her dad or maybe her grandfather or some shit. They were a knight, and her parents died as well. And so it's like the soul of somebody she knew is now fighting alongside with her from this possessed sword. So it's a little girl running around with a giant sword, being followed by a night ghost. And she could control it and make it do different things, and they were both very strong. I think the night ghost was untargetable, but there might have been some sort of thing where he disappeared for like a short period of time. I don't remember. There was some mechanic, some gimmick to her. But yeah, I don't know. I think there was just I don't know what happened to the game. I don't know if the gameplay felt weird to some people because
I felt like that
the
game
maps were really big and open.
In some people's hearts.
I think it could have been a fan favorite for some people. Maybe they were just tired of waiting. Maybe the marketing came too late.
I mean, I know you brought.
To be honest, I don't think I ever saw any marketing for that game.
Yeah, I thought the marketing wasn't that amazing.
Is it on Steam? Is that game on Steam?
I believe it got pulled.
Was on Steam.
It was on Steam because I'm pretty sure when we first played it, we played it through Xbox, like the Xbox, the Windows.
Thing.
The Windows Store.
Or some shit.
Yeah, that's how.
Which anything that goes through the Windows Store only is, like look at what is it? The zombie game that came out recently. State of Decay 2.
Oh,
there we go.
Oh, that's Windows only.
I never.
That's Xbox. That's Xbox thing only.
Oof.
You have to play it through the Xbox Store.
Oof. Yikes.
So that can. That can kind of hurt a game.
You bet. Like, who wants to deal with all that shit? Anytime a game tells me I gotta get off the Steam client or open up a different client, I'm like,
already tilted.
Boy.
The game better
Looking
be good.
at you, Origin.
The game better be good.
You play.
Why the fuck is?
You don't have to open Uplay to play the game though. It just launches through Uplay.
Why is the rest of the Mass Effect series hidden behind Origin? God.
That's all anybody uses Origin for. Origin's garbage. And
Battlefield
Sims.
3.
Sims.
Anyways, yeah. It's a shame.
So, yeah, I can't think of any other that were dead like that I really want back.
Gigantic going down was not something that I expected to happen. But then again, it's a game that I also haven't played in a hot minute. Do I have it installed on my computer right now? I don't think so.
Servers are dead.
Oh, I do. I do have it installed on my computer. I don't think the
servers are dead. I just googled it.
Oh, they're dead already when they die.
July.
July. That's what it was.
That just passed.
It just literally just passed. Rest.
Yep. They announced it. Let's see.
I guess I'm probably never gonna uninstall it just so I can have the little icon there, just so I remember.
Just to collect them all or some shit.
Just so I remember. I remember.
Okay.
But anyways,
developer says the game did not resonate with as many players as we'd hoped.
Yep. That's what Randy Pitchford said about Battleborn.
They shut down the servers on July 31st, so 2 days ago.
Oh shit.
I couldn't find a wide enough audience. It was not an easy decision. The game is a unique and exciting experience to capture many hearts. Unfortunately, it did not resonate with as many players as we'd hoped. Over the last several months, the teams at Motiga and Perfect World, their publisher, looked into viable options to sustain it. However, the current state of the game is restricted options for further progress and relevant content updates. And delivering basic features while also fixing long-standing issues was more complicated than expected. Despite our best efforts, we were unable to find an impactful solution that would help Gigantic break through in a crowded market. Publisher Perfect World announced in November that the studio had laid off most of the team working on the title. Skeleton Crew has been maintained and updating Gigantic since then.
Yikes.
Their publisher is the same guys that publish Blacklight Retribution. Is the only big game. Free to play first person shooter.
Yeah, I think I played bits of it. I actually kind of liked it, but I didn't like it enough to ditch my
not
other
bad.
games.
It's not bad for a free to play.
I think that's the biggest issue with free to play games, that they have to be it's not about being good. You have to be good enough to where I want to play games that I paid money for less than you. Because sure,
that's why I guess that's why MOBAs are so big and free to play, because they're just so much bigger with a lot more content, and the paid versions just can't keep up.
And the replayability is solid, right?
Because no two matches of a MOBA are the same.
Like sure, I loved Monster Hunter World. That game is great, but I'm not gonna lie that some of the inclination for me consistently going back and playing every day was also that I paid $60 for it.
Yep.
So, I'm gonna want to go back.
Personally, that game is not worth it to me.
You didn't like Monster Hunter World enough?
I'm also a person though that doesn't enjoy the grind of something like WoW.
Oh,
I
don't enjoy WoW either.
You already know why I liked it. Monster Hunter. I got to see a bunch of cool ass giant monsters and fight them.
That's right up your alley.
For a monster junkie like me, I loved it. But anyways, fucking rip. So I think.
Do games like that ever come back? Like, they ever resurge somehow? They're like, oh shit.
It's rare. Usually it's something rare. They just have to go make a sequel.
Majority of the time, the servers die out. Like, now Gigantic can't come back even if it wanted to. Unless something gets picked up. The only big series that I've know of personally that I can think of that was officially pronounced dead and has made a comeback is Darksiders.
Darksiders? That game died?
After Darksiders 2, it was super dead.
After Darksiders 2, the company was gone. THQ dissolved.
THQ doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, I mean, there's THQ Nordic, but I think that they're taking that name up due to a namesake. THQ Nordic.
Oh, okay.
Vigil Games was the people that worked on it, and Vigil Games is totally gone. THQ Nordic, which is a subsidiary of some other company. I don't remember who bought them out. But I think they took up the name more as a namesake than them being a remnant of THQ. But they hired majority of the people that were in Vigil Games. They were also the people that made Battle Chasers Night War, which I thought was a fantastic game.
They also made the MX vs. ATV series.
Which is cool.
It's not a huge name, but it's, still...
I played the fuck out of the DS version of that game.
Their parent is THQ Nordic AB.
Okay.
So technically THQ Nordic is the parent.
Yeah.
Although they have some subsidiaries.
I guess it was just...
They have Black Forest Games.
Mm-hmm.
What did they make? They made some kind of smaller games.
I don't know.
They're mainly the top one, actually.
Yeah. I don't know.
THQ Nordic.
I think
they were
THQ
because THQ went defunct and sold out to Nordic, and they merged with Nordic.
Okay.
Because it was Nordic Games. It's in December 2013, they opened an original game store to you. In August 2016, Nordic Games changed its name to THQ Nordic, using the THQ trademark they had acquired previously to regain its association with their franchises acquired from THQ. February 2018, the company acquired Koch Media, including Deep Silver, thus bringing several former THQ franchises, such as Saints Row, back under that label. So they own Deep Silver.
THQ was huge back in the day.
I mean, Deep Silver is pretty big still. Deep Silver's got a pretty long list of stuff, such as the Metro series, the Dead Island series, Ride to Hell Retribution,
LOL.
Saints Row, Homefront, which we don't talk about, Kingdom Come Deliverance.
Why don't we talk about Homefront?
Let's not get into that one.
Because it's garbage. Shenmue 3. They're making a Shenmue video game in 2019.
Yes, that you don't understand what the buzz around that game is.
They made Dreamfall chapters.
All right. Well, we clearly know.
They made the
Stalker. They've done a lot of shit.
Risen. The Guild, Gothic.
But yeah, I hope, just as a final note, I hope Darksiders 3 is good. From what I've seen so far, I am not riding the hype train. And from replaying Darksiders 2 and seeing how the DLC was done, there's a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth. But besides that, I think we're going to use these last few seconds to say a silent prayer to all those dead games that we wish came back. So we're all going to hold hands now.
Looking at you, Halo Wars.
Take my hand.
I refuse.
And we're going to... Give me your fucking hand. There we
Put
go.
them fingers in my fingers.
Now we're going to do a little bit of kumbaya. May these games rest in fucking peace. Or may they come back
Rip
one day.
and pepperoni.
Hopefully not as some sort of loot box zombies.
I hope Overwatch dies and the player base moves to fucking Battleborn. Not gonna happen.
I hope
That would
Overwatch dies and players move to an actual good game.
That is some wicked ass fucking alternate universe shit right there.
No, I'm sorry. Do you know what game? I guess hopefully next week we talk about games we want to die, because Fortnite will be at the top of my list.
Oh boy, I don't think we're gonna tackle that beast just because I don't want the 12-year-olds coming after me.
The reason I want Fortnite to die, the game shouldn't exist in the first place. It was literally they threw shit at the wall and got very lucky.
Okay, hold on. All right, well, it seems like we're out of time, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to cut it here. Thank you
This
guys
is the
for
cut
coming
off
out.
by technical difficulties.
We're hanging in there, just a little cat poster. But yeah, this was Casual Cast episode 3, and thanks for joining us. I'll see you next time.